Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. We know right now that the Owen Gun is just absolutely insane in Warzone. However, there is a very close competition with the top TTKs for subs in the game right now. The Owen Gun versus a weapon that not too many players are using, it seems like. The Type 100. Today, we're breaking down the full stats of multiple Type 100 builds to see which one really is the most optimal and comparing it to the Owen Gun to see maybe should you change up your SMG setups to something a little bit more dominant. As we go through it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, you already know every day I got you covered with everything going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. And also, quick reminder, all throughout the weekend, my G Fuel discount code WhosImmortal is boosted to get you 30% off your entire order. So if you want to grab anything at all from the G Fuel site, now is quite literally the best time to do so. Link will be down in the description below. So let's go ahead and let's break down the stats first and foremost. As always, shout out to Tony. We're here on True Game Data for getting all the information so that we can make videos like this and see these stats visualized so easily. First up, we're looking at Caldera. We'll look at Rebirth as well. Combination shots as always, since that's the most accurate. And the four builds we're looking at here: the Owen Gun max TTK build with recoil booster, no barrel, and the Kurz 60 round drums versus the Owen Gun with recoil booster, the shrouded barrel, and the Garanko 72, my sort of customized build that I think is by far the most consistent, versus the Type 100 with the recoil booster and the rapid barrel. That'll be the best TTK options between muzzle and barrel. And then the 48 round drums, damage increasing 8mm rounds, or the Type 100 with recoil booster, rapid barrel, and the 36 Russian short, which also are damage increasing. And when we go ahead and we look at the chart here, we get pretty interesting results. Now, as we know, this Owen Gun build, recoil booster, no barrel, Kurz 60 round drums, the 8mm, has an insane TTK. It is second on this chart and actually the worst on this chart past 25 meters, which I found to be pretty surprising. Everyone's ranting and raving about this build. We sort of talked about this in my dedicated Owen Gun video not too long ago, where I said, yeah, this shrouded barrel build, it might have a TTK that's not as good as the fastest TTK Owen Gun build, especially on Caldera, but over range, it's just so much better, which is why I find it to be a little bit more consistent. And up close, I mean, if we had more guns on here, OTS, MP5s, we could even go, PPSHs. This is still going to be a top choice here. It's just the worst on this list because these all have ridiculous TTKs, right? But both these Owen Gun builds are consistent. One's just really consistent up close, one's really consistent in basically every range. But then you have these Type 100 builds, and we've talked about this one with the 48 round drums before. You have to work a lot to control that horizontal recoil in this one, a little bit more than with the 36 Russian short, but its TTK is very impressive, again, through about the first 24-25 meters, but then it drops off and it's really not all that great over range, and especially because the control, it's not going to be great for sniper support. We do, however, now have this 36 Russian short build that players have been testing out recently, and I mean, do the stats not speak for themselves here? Yeah, it's got some iffy recoil here and there. It definitely bounces a lot horizontally, and obviously 36 round mags. Yeah, either got to be very smart in trios and quads with that, or it's going to be a primarily solos and duos type weapon. But when it comes down to just simply winning a one-on-one gunfight, there's a pretty obvious choice here, right? This Type 100 build, recoil booster, Russian short, and the rapid barrel is utterly insane through the first 50 meters here, essentially, on this graph. I mean, that's pretty obvious to me. The stats, at least on 300 health for Caldera, do speak for themselves. We can go ahead and we can look at the Rebirth health here as well. Again, combination shots, and it's kind of more the same. That no barrel Owen Gun build, the max TTK one, really good through the first 25 meters. And then compared to these other ones, it is actually terrible past 25 meters. And then we got our standard Owen Gun. It's a lot more competitive here up close, and then definitely the best over range, the second best over range, I guess you could say, with this new Type 100 build. But each of these Type 100 builds that we talk about, with the 48 round mag and with the 30 Russian short, they are right there up close, and then over range, I mean, they still absolutely dominate versus the Owen Gun, at least with that top TTK build that everyone's using. Obviously, though, there are some drawbacks with the recoil here. It's a lot worse on the Type 100 than it is with this shrouded barrel Owen Gun build, and the magazine capacity, the damage per mag here, 36 rounds versus 72 or 60. I mean, that is a significant loss that you are getting, and like I said, that does affect your gameplay a ton in trios and quads, and that's why this gun, to me, this Type 100 build, is going to be an insanely useful weapon for players who are either really smart, they have a really high in-game IQ and they can navigate fights with low ammo counts, or it's going to be that top choice for solos and for duos action, either on Rebirth or on Caldera, because as we see, nothing is matching this TTK up close. We're looking at a sub 500 millisecond TTK, half of a second TTK through the first 21 meters, which is just absolutely crazy when it comes down to it. So let's talk about each of these builds a little bit here as we go through and kit these out. Obviously, I have a demo kit blueprint on here because it looks absolutely sick. But for the Type 100, obviously, as we saw in the chart, we're going for the recoil booster. We're going to go for the rapid barrel in all cases here, just for that max TTK with that better fire rate. For what it's worth, if you want a Type 100 that's still very consistent and a lot easier to use, the 374 millimeter barrel here with the better control, the better velocity, this is great for sniper support. Neither of these builds, in my opinion, even though, yes, our 36 Russian short build does have really good TTK through pretty much those first 40 meters, I don't think that's prime sniper support. With the 374 barrel here, I think you have a much better and more consistent build, so just take that into consideration there. But rapid barrel, then of course, first and foremost, the Kurz 48. This has a great TTK, and obviously this will be a lot more useful for trios and quads fights with that larger magazine. For the optic on both builds, I'd be going for slate reflector for sure. For the stock here, you definitely want to go for the T100. In both builds, the horizontal control is the real problem here. Vertical control, we all know that's super easy. Horizontal is pretty difficult though, because it's a lot more sporadic and hard to navigate on keyboard and mouse and on a joystick on controllers. So this will help out with that. And you also get a better ADS, which is super convenient. I'd also be going for hand stop on both builds as well. Honestly, I'd be sticking with lengthens in this case too. Maybe you could run hollow point if you wanted to, or obviously if you want to stay off the radar, run subsonic. But to me, lengthen will help out some in some pretty drastic situations for some of those mid-range fights. I would probably go for hatched here as well on both builds, again, for that horizontal control. You could definitely test out polymer in this case for just better control in general. That could be really useful. I wouldn't recommend fabric for this build just because the recoil is not going to be consistent enough. Hatch to me is the most rewarding there though. Acrobatic or gung ho for both these builds is great. It's going to help out with getting that sprint to fire out of there. Obviously, we're not using anything that's really sprint to fire based here, so we don't have to worry about that. And then perk 2 going for quicker, fully loaded as always. But this is the basic 48 round drum build. Curiously enough, if you wanted to switch to the Russian short and get that best TTK, obviously just with a smaller mag, I think the only thing you realistically have to go in and change is just the magazine itself. I think the build here does actually stay the same everywhere else. Of course, like I said, you can mess with the ammo if you wanted to with hollow point and subsonic, but outside of that, I mean, this all stays super consistent between both, and there is a pretty significant difference in the general TTKs just by switching up that one attachment. So if you want the true best TTK Type 100 loadout, this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is it. And that being said, that is going to wrap things up for today. Definitely a very interesting conversation in the general SMG meta. Obviously, the Owen Gun is that SMG. The Type 100, though, minus the magazine size here, really could pose a threat with that. So definitely worth trying out if you're interested in switching up your SMG gameplay. But that's going to wrap things up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. But until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.